From the CSI Softball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet presents NCAA Division II softball coverage live on the ECC network. Today's conference matchup features the Spartans of St. Thomas Aquinas College taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Joe Foreman. I will be bringing you all the action live from right behind home plate during today's conference matchups. Game one getting off to a bit of a late start, about 5 minutes after our scheduled first pitch, though these games were originally scheduled to begin at 2:30. We did move those games up yesterday as a result of incoming inclement weather. So as the starters are being introduced out on the field for both teams, I will bring you the starting lineups for both sides, beginning first with the visiting Spartans of St. Thomas Aquinas College. Leading things off will be the designated hitter, number 4, Carissa Della Vecchia. Batting second will be the catcher, number 21, Emily Olivier. Batting third will be the pitcher, number 15, Abby Landrum. In the cleanup spot will be the first baseman, number 23, Amanda Castro. Batting fifth will be the third baseman, number 25, Amanda Schweitzer. Batting sixth will be the left fielder, number 18, Tara Hagan. Batting seventh will be the shortstop, number 42, Ruday Gadsden. Batting eighth will be the right fielder, number 6, Emily Mayer. And batting ninth will be the center fielder, number 11, Amanda Demerly. For the College of Staten Island, we once again had a late change to CSI's starting lineup. Kelsey Strayer was originally penciled in as the starting pitcher. The Dolphins make a late change, and Anissa Acosta will get the start for the College of Staten Island. That change not even updated on my score sheet yet, but getting the start for CSI will be Anissa Acosta. And you hear that coming over the public address right now. Starting lineup for CSI actually does change with that movement, as I don't have a right fielder on my sheet. I'll have to double check the official scorecards, which were left with me, and see if we can reconcile the changes that the Dolphins made. And it'll be Alexis Miramontes in right field. So Miramontes, also typically a pitcher for the College of Staten Island, will get the start in right field. So I'll make that change right now, and that rounds out CSI's starting lineup on my lineup sheet. So the starting lineup officially for the College of Staten Island is as follows. Leading things off will be the pitcher, number 16, Anissa Acosta. Batting second will be the left fielder, number 3, Mariah Carcano. Batting third will be the third baseman, number 5, Samantha McPherson. In the cleanup spot will be the shortstop, number 23, Elizabeth Moore. Batting fifth will be the second baseman, number 10, Layla Aponte. Batting sixth will be the first baseman, number 19, Claudia Porcaro. The right fielder, Alexis Miramontes, wears number 1, will bat seventh. The catcher, Isabel Gallo, wears number 2 and bats eighth. And the center fielder, Jessica Carrion, wearing number 20, bats ninth. And very quickly, we'll take a break for the national anthem.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4890.
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins and Spartans about to get underway from the College of Staten Island. And in the circle for CSI will be Anissa Acosta. And Acosta is CSI's leading hitter on the year, but has also been a force to be reckoned with in the circle as well. And for Acosta on the season, she has pitched to a 2.26 ERA with a whip of 1.85. She has a record of 2 wins and 3 losses across 6 appearances and 1 start. Today's start will be her 7th appearance and 2nd start of the year. She's thrown 1 complete game, and in 21 2/3 innings, she's allowed 22 hits, 11 runs, 7 of those earned. She has walked 18 and struck out 11. She has allowed 5 extra base hits to 89 opposing batters who have hit .247 against her. And the left-handed hitting Carissa Della Vecchia will lead things off for the stacked Spartans. And Acosta's first pitch is up and away for ball 1. Della Vecchia on the season hitting at .345 with an on-base percentage of .463 at the top of the stack lineup. And she's quickly ahead in the count, 2-0. Della Vecchia still looking for her first home run of the year. If I'm not mistaken, she had a great year in that department last season as she takes up high for ball 3. Acosta behind 3-0 against the first batter she faces here this afternoon. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. And that's up high for ball 4. So Della Vecchia did not have to move in the batter's box, and she's on with a 4-pitch walk.
Now batting for the Spartans, the catcher number 21, Emily Olivier.
That will bring Emily Olivier to the plate with a runner on and nobody out in the opening inning. And the first pitch from Acosta is in for the first strike of this ball game. Olivier comes in hitting at .286 in 42 at-bats. And she swings and misses at the 0-1 pitch. So Olivier quickly in a 2-strike hole. And I'm fairly certain it is coming through over my headset, but it is a windy afternoon here at the College of Staten Island. Rain in the forecast for later in the afternoon as Acosta picks up her first strikeout of the game. She sets down Olivier swinging for the first out. That will bring Abby Landrum to the plate.
The pitcher, number 15, Abby Landrum.
And the freshman starting pitcher for the Spartans, much like her counterpart, Acosta. Also a big threat up at the plate, and she lines the first pitch she sees past the glove of McPherson into left. The ball was bobbled, and both runners will advance an extra base. That is certainly not the way the Dolphins wanted to see this game get started. As Acosta issues the 4-pitch walk, bounces back with a strikeout. But in left field, Carcano had that ball hit off of her glove. It rolled just a few feet away, but that was enough for both runners to advance an extra base. That brings Amanda Castro to the plate with a chance to give the Spartans an early lead. And she is hit by the first pitch. And she clearly felt that one right on the left elbow. Not sure how much of the elbow guard did on that, but Castro takes first base, and now the bases are loaded with Spartans for the number 5 hitter, Amanda Schweitzer.
Now batting for the Spartans, number 25, third baseman Amanda Schweitzer.
So Schweitzer with a huge opportunity here in the opening inning. Acosta pitching with 1 out and the bases loaded finds the zone with that first pitch to Schweitzer. Here comes the 0-1 from Acosta. And that's blooped on the infield. Could be trouble. And Porcaro throws over to first where Aponte covers for the second out. Nicely done by the Dolphins infield to get an out on that play. Tough break for CSI as they had the opportunity for a force at the plate, but that ball was perfectly placed on the infield to make sure that wasn't a possibility. And that will bring Tara Hagan to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. You'd have to think the Dolphins would be happy limiting the damage to just 1 run here in the top half of the first. And the first pitch to Hagan is up and away for ball 1. Hagan comes in hitting at .271 and 48 at-bats so far this season. Comes the 1-0 pitch, and that's off the outside corner for ball 2. Hitters count, 2 balls and no strikes for Hagan. The Dolphins do have an open base to work with, and that's hit right back to Acosta in the circle, and she makes the backhanded stop and throws out Hagan for the final out of the inning. So CSI limits the damage to 1 in the opening frame. The Spartans strand a pair, but they lead 1-0 heading into the home half of the first.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins now trailing 1-0, but it certainly could have been much worse for the home team after the top half of the first inning. Spartans stranded a pair as the wind once again picks up, and it would be wise for the players out there in the field not to underestimate the impact of the wind this afternoon. Abby Landrum in the circle for the Spartans. I mentioned her prowess at the plate already, and in just a moment I'll get you her numbers in the circle. And just as her counterpart Anissa Acosta did in the top half of the inning, Landrum is quickly behind the first hitter she faces, 2-0. And the 2-0 pitch is in for a called strike. And the 2-0 pitch the 2-1 pitch misses up high for ball 3. So Acosta ahead in the count, 3-0. And the 3-1 misses for ball 4. So Acosta ahead 3-1, takes that pitch for ball 4. And the Dolphins, just like the Spartans did, draw a leadoff walk of their own. That will bring Mariah Carcano to the plate. Carcano was responsible for that first inning error, and she looks to bunt and came up empty on the bunt attempt. Owen won the count on the Dolphins' left fielder. Acosta stands over at first base. And the pitch from Landrum is bunted down the third baseline. That's a great bunt. And Acosta will advance to second on the successful sacrifice. With that, the Dolphins move the tying run into scoring position for Samantha McPherson. Acosta, CSI's leading hitter, McPherson right behind her.
Dolphins, third baseman number 5, Sam McPherson.
And McPherson looks at that pitch for ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. And that catches the outside corner for a called strike. And the 1-1 is hit in the air to straightaway center. And making the catch is Demerly out in center for the second out. That will bring Elizabeth Moore to the plate.
Now batting for the Dolphins, shortstop number 23, Elizabeth Moore.
Acosta came in hitting at .458, McPherson at .390, and Elizabeth Moore is CSI's third leading hitter at .357. And the 0-1 to Moore is fouled back, and she's quickly in a 2-strike hole. 0-2 the count on the Dolphin shortstop. And that's hit to the right side, fielded by Astrologo, and the low throw is scooped out of the dirt by Castro for the final out of the inning. The Dolphins strand one in scoring position, and they trail 1-0 through 1 here from the CSI Softball Complex.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
And we're back from the CSI Softball Complex. Dolphins trailing the Spartans 1-0 as we begin the second inning. For the Spartans in the road second, it will be 7, 8, and 9 due up. Gadsden, Mayer, and Demerly for St. Thomas Aquinas College as they look to build upon a 1-run lead.
Now batting for the Spartans, shortstop number 42, Rude Gadsden.
Uday Gadsden will lead things off for the Spartans against Anissa Acosta. As Acosta will adjust the mask. Now, as I mentioned before, it's very windy, and in the circle, we've seen a lot of dirt spirals up into the sky, and you have to think that could easily affect a pitcher, as it looked like Acosta may have had to wipe her eyes there. And Gadsden barely able to hold up on that first pitch. She's ahead in the count here, 1-0. Long look in from Acosta. Here comes her 1-0 pitch. And that's fouled back. One ball and one strike the count on the Spartan shortstop. So the umpire has corrected the count. The scoreboard reads 1-1. The correct count is 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. And that's up high for ball one. So Gadsden did offer at that first pitch. And it looks like our scoreboard operator, Joe Masha, has been removed from his post. Look at that. He made it 6 outs, Nick. Nick, of course, I should have mentioned when we got started, my engineer today is Nick Bavona. Nick Durst could not be here today. The game getting started early. So we're without our friend Nick Durst this afternoon. He'll be back on the call with me this Saturday for CSI Dolphins baseball. The Dolphins take on Mercy College over at the baseball complex this Saturday at noon. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and once again, Gadsden fights it off foul. Gadsden looking to improve upon a 200 batting average on the season. Comes in 7 of 35. She's behind 1-2 here. Another long look in from Acosta. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that's up and away for ball 2. Acosta working very deliberately in the circle right now. Here's her 2-2 pitch, and that is out of the zone for ball 3. So Acosta opened the first inning with a walk, has now run the count full on Gadsden, and is in danger of issuing a third free pass, as she also had a hit batter in the first. And Gadsden fights off another one foul. A strong at bat here for Gadsden. Really making the Dolphins starter work. Acosta now up over 20 pitches in the game. Another 3-2 pitch upcoming from Acosta. And that's hit well out into left center field, and that will find the gap. It's played on the backhand by Carrion, and that's a nice job by Carrion to cut that ball off and hold Gadsden to a single. So once again, the Spartans have a leadoff base runner, this time coming on a single. And that will bring up Emily Mayer. Mayer comes in hitting at .231, 6 of 26. And the Dolphins infield on the left side comes just about all the way in. CSI looking for the attempted bunt, perhaps a slap to the left side. Mayer, a left-handed hitter, and she swings through the 1-0 pitch for strike one. One ball and one strike. The count on the Spartans' right fielder. And Acosta's pitch is off the outside corner. Gallo throws behind the runner at first, Gadsden, but Gadsden back in safely. Two and one, the count on Mayer. Acosta's pitch on its way. And once again, that's swung on and missed for strike two. This next pitch is a big one for Acosta. Could be the difference between an out and running the count full. Here's the 2-2, and that's chopped foul. I've said it once already, but great at-bats for the Spartans so far. No easy outs to this point. They have a run and 2 base hits to show for it so far. Here comes the 2-2. And that's up high for ball 3. So Acosta in danger of issuing another walk. The number 9 hitter, Amanda Demerly, is on deck. 3-2 the count on Mayer. And the pitch from Acosta is lined through the middle for a base hit. And the Dolphins having the infield in there, perhaps costing them an out, as Moore had no chance to make the play. It's a single for Mayer, and Stack now has 2 on with still nobody out.
Now batting for the Spartans, left fielder number 11, Amanda Demerly.
Amanda Demerly is the batter. An opportunity for Demerly with 2 on. Her team already ahead by a run. Demerly just 9 of 42 on the season with 3 runs batted in. So a big opportunity here for her to add to that RBI total. A base hit should score 1, but it appears as if Demerly will be asked to bunt. And a timeout is called from the third base coaching box by Kristen Sullivan, who will have a word with her center fielder. And judging by that interaction, I think there may have been a missed sign. We'll see. Perhaps bunt was not the call. 0-1 the count on Demerly, as this game has really come to a grinding halt here in the second inning. Demerly back into the box. Here comes Acosta's 0-1 pitch. And the bunt remains on, but the bat contacted the ball in the field of play, and the batter is out. Both runners will be sent back, and that is a huge break for the Dolphins, but that was absolutely the right call by the home plate umpire. He was right on top of it. The bat clearly contacting that ball about 6 to 12 inches in front of the batter's box, and Demerly is out.
Designated player number 4, Carissa Della Vecchia.
Back to the top of the order for the Spartans, and Carissa Della Vecchia hits the first pitch she sees to second. Acosta gives way to Aponte, and Aponte throws out Della Vecchia for the second out.
Catcher number 21.
It will be left to Emily Olivier. Olivier struck out swinging in her first at bat. Has a chance to put her team up by 2, maybe 3. But she swings through the first pitch from Acosta for strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. And that's off the outside corner for ball 1. One ball and 1 strike the count now. Here comes Acosta's pitch. And that's swung on and missed for strike 2. So Olivier out in front twice in 3 pitches. We'll see if Acosta chooses to go off speed again or if she challenges her with some of the hard stuff. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And Acosta goes up the ladder with the fastball, but Olivier would not chase it. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 outs and 2 on for the Spartans here in the second. And Acosta's pitch is hit on the ground to short, and it hits the runner. Mayer is out, and the inning is over. Tough break there for Stack, but Moore would have had a good chance to make that play had the runner not been contacted by the ball, and through 1.5, the Dolphins trail 1-0.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex as Layla Aponte steps into the box for CSI. Her team trailing by a run as we enter the bottom half of the second inning. And the first pitch of the inning from Abby Landrum misses out of the zone for ball one. And Landrum's 1-0 is also out of the zone for ball two. So just like she started the first inning, Landrum misses with two straight to open up the second inning. And the 2-0 is taken for a called strike. Two and one the count on the Dolphins' second baseman. And Landrum's pitch is up high for ball three. Count now 3-1 as Aponte looks to give the Dolphins a leadoff base runner. And the pitch from Landrum, I believe, missed for ball four, and it did. So Aponte claims she didn't hear the call, but she's on with a leadoff walk. That will bring Claudia Porcaro to the plate.
Now batting for the Dolphins, first baseman number 19, Claudia Porcaro.
Porcaro comes in hitting at 286, and she takes a called strike. Porcaro among the longest tenured Dolphins, and she takes a called strike two there. The weather on this day, reminiscent of a day where Porcaro extended the afternoon underneath rainfall in one of the most memorable Dolphin games I've ever covered. But here, Porcaro looks at a called strike three, and perhaps I'll get a chance to talk more about that later. As again, we do have rain in the forecast this afternoon. We're hoping to beat the rain, which is in the forecast for about 4 or 5 p.m., which is why these games are moved up from 2:30 to noon. Alexis Miramontes is the batter for the Dolphins, and she's ahead in the count 1-0. And the 1-0 is in for a called strike one. Well, I do have the numbers on Abby Landrum. The internet connection out here, not the best, so I had to take my time getting those numbers pulled up, but I do have them, as that's on the ground to second. And we've seen several of those softly hit ground balls on the infield already, as Miramontes is retired for the second out, but for the second time in as many innings, the Dolphins have the tying run in scoring position.
Now batting for the Dolphins, catcher number 2, Isabel Gallo.
That will bring Isabel Gallo to the plate. Gallo also among the leaders in batting on this Dolphins team. Comes in hitting at 351. She takes out of the zone for ball one. Ponte is the runner over at second. A base hit here could tie the game, and Gallo hits one down the right field line, but foul. Gallo didn't miss by too much. And the count is now even at 1-1 strike. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And that's up high for ball 2. I will head back up there in between innings, but took a lot of effort to get our camera straightened out at the top of the bleachers, and that effort right now appears to have been wasted, as we do have some spectators gathered around our tripod, and the wind has knocked the camera out of position. So we'll head up there in between innings and get that taken care of. As I just glanced over at the monitor and caught that. And Gallo is called out on strikes. And Tracy Garofalo does not like the call. She is asking for consistency from the home plate umpire. The Dolphins not happy with that called third strike. And once again, they strand a runner in scoring position. Our score remains 1-0 through 2.
You Know I'm Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know I'm Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know I'm Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know I'm Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know I'm.
Number 15, Abby Landrum.
And we're back for the top half of the third inning. 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Spartans as they lead the College of Staten Island 1-0. And the first pitch of the inning from Acosta sails way upstairs for ball 1. Acosta has had trouble finding the strike zone to open up each of the first 2 innings in this game. And her 1-0 pitch is topped foul. Landrum is 1 for 1 in the game. She singled in her first at-bat. There were 2 runners on base for the Spartans in that first inning after Landrum's base hit. And both Landrum and the runner on, Carissa Della Vecchia, advanced on an error in left field by Mariah Carcano. That error ultimately led to the game's first run. So if I'm not mistaken, the 1 run that Acosta has allowed is unearned. But I'll double check that. As the 1-2 pitch finds the inside corner for a called strike 3. So Landrum is set down on strikes looking at that pitch. And for Acosta, that strikeout is her second. Amanda Castro is the batter, and she takes a called strike. Castro was hit by the first pitch she saw in the opening inning. At the time, that loaded the bases, and that one's lined foul off the stacked dugout. Oh, 0-2 the count on the Spartans' first baseman. And Acosta's two-strike pitch is hit sharply on the ground. Aponte got a glove on it and recovers to make the play for the second out. That will bring Amanda Schweitzer to the plate.
Now batting for the Spartans, third baseman, number 25, Amanda Schweitzer.
Schweitzer comes to bat with the bases empty and 2 outs in the third, as Acosta looks for her first 1-2-3 inning. She's off to a good start in this at-bat. She finds the zone with her first pitch. Schweitzer flew out in her first plate appearance in search of her first hit of the game right here, and she takes out of the zone for ball one. Comes the 1-1 pitch. That's grounded foul. So I was taking a look back at my official scorecard, or I should say unofficial scorecard, but for me it's official as I don't have access to internet and live stats here at the Softball Diamond. But taking a look at my scoring, I have that first inning run as unearned. One ball and 2 strikes the count on Schweitzer. And Acosta's pitch is topped foul. Acosta quickly approaching 50 pitches in this game. This next one will be number 49. Here comes another 1-2 offering. And that is on the inside corner for a called strike 3. So Acosta picks up another strikeout, once again of the looking variety, and she has her first 1-2-3 inning of the game. We head to the home half of the third. The Dolphins still trail 1-0.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we're back from the CSI softball complex as Jessica Carrion awaits the second pitch of her first at-bat. And she takes that pitch for a called strike 2. After Carrion, it's back to the top of the lineup for the Dolphins. And the 0-2 pitch to Carrion is grounded slowly to second. And Astrologo throws out Carrion for the first out of the home third. Back to the top of the lineup for CSI, and Anissa Acosta will be the batter.
Number 16, Anissa Acosta.
Acosta walked her first time up, and something I plan to highlight during the pregame, and I'll have to do it quickly as Acosta has a base hit, and the ball got away from Mayer in right field for just a moment, but Acosta's on with a 1-out single. But what I was going to say is that Acosta, right now, if she continues at her current pace, has a chance to break the Dolphins' all-time record for RBIs in a single season. That record is 60. Acosta, in 14 games, has 22 runs batted in. The Dolphins have 24 games remaining. So she definitely has a chance. It won't be easy, but the opportunity is there, and that's something to keep an eye on over the next couple of doubleheaders to see if Acosta can maintain that pace. Keep in mind that record was set when the Dolphins were a Division III program. 2 separate record books for D2 and D3, but not hard to combine those and get a look at numbers across both the Dolphins' D2 and D3 tenures. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count on Carcano, and she lines one into left, and that is off the glove of Hagan as she attempted to make a sliding backhanded stop. And just like that, the Dolphins have 2 on with 1 away here in the home third. That will give Samantha McPherson a chance with 2 on and 1 out. McPherson is 0 for 1, flew out to center in her first at bat, and she swings through that pitch for strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Landrum, and that is downstairs. This is Landrum's 11th start of the season. She is 4-6 in the first 10 as she falls behind McPherson 2-1. In 61 innings, she's allowed 72 hits, 40 runs, 23 of those earned. She's walked 18 and struck out 31 as McPherson fouls that pitch back. She's pitched to a 2.64 ERA. She and Carissa Della Vecchia have split most of the reps in the circle for the Spartans. And Landrum has certainly made her presence felt on this squad as a newcomer. I mentioned it earlier, the freshman, the team's leading hitter. Also, the team leader in ERA among qualifiers. She has a 2-2 count here on McPherson. And McPherson takes a called strike 3 on the outside corner. We've seen quite a few strikeouts looking for both teams now. And that's a big one for Landrum in the circle. And it will be left to Elizabeth Moore for the Dolphins, and she hits one hard on the ground to short. It's handled by Gadsden, who forces out Carcano at second for the final out of the inning. So the Dolphins strand a runner in scoring position once again. They have now stranded 4 after leaving a pair on base here in the third. Their deficit remains 1 run as we head to the 4th inning.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4899.
And we are back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins still trailing 1-0 as the Spartans tallied an unearned run in the opening inning. Right now, that is the difference in the game As for Stack, it is 1 run on 3 base hits and no errors for the Dolphins. No runs on 2 base hits and 1 error. And right now that error continues to prove costly for the Dolphins as Anissa Acosta misses with pitch number 50 to Tara Hagan, who will lead things off for the Spartans here in the 4th. 6, 7, and 8 due up for Stack in the top half of inning number 4. And Acosta's 1-0 pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. Hagan is 0 for 1 at the plate, grounded out in her first plate appearance. It was a 1-2-3 third for Acosta. Easily her best inning of the game, and that's it sharply to third. Easy play for McPherson, and she throws out Hagan for the first out.
For the Spartans, shortstop number 42, Renee Gadsden.
Renee Gadsden will be the batter. Gadsden singled to left center in her first at-bat. That was after a lengthy battle with Acosta. And Gadsden puts the first pitch in play here. That's at a mile high out to left. And Carcano makes the two-handed catch for the second out. That at-bat much different than her first for Gadsden, as she's retired on 1 pitch for the second out of the inning. And Emily Mayer will be the batter. Mayer also singled in her first plate appearance. Once again, the Dolphins bring the infield in, so they have the scouting report on Mayer, who takes downstairs for ball 1. Mayer came in 6 of 26 on the season. Just 1 extra base hit. And that's off the outside corner for ball 2. Amanda Demerly would be next if Mayer can keep the inning going. But I'm sure the Dolphins would love for the next inning to open up at the bottom of the order. For the Spartans, the number 9 hitter on deck in Demerly. But Acosta is now behind 3-0. Acosta's issued 1 walk and hit a batter in this game, but we've seen many 3-ball counts. Here comes the 3-0 pitch, and that misses badly for ball 4. So Acosta does issue her second walk. And that will bring Amanda Demerly to the plate.
Now batting for the Spartans, center fielder number 11, Amanda Demerly.
So Demerly was retired in very unorthodox fashion in her first at-bat. Bunted at a ball, which rolled in front of the batter's box. And when Demerly dropped the bat, it landed on top of the ball in play. So Demerly was called out. Officially, she's 0 for 1 and is behind in the count here. No balls and 1 strike. And the 0-1 is inside. Carissa Della Vecchia would be next if Demerly can keep the inning going. And for Della Vecchia, that would surely be an opportunity with a runner or runners in scoring position. Of course, barring a home run, that's a half swing by Demerly, an ugly cut. And she swings right through that pitch for strike 2. This next pitch for Acosta will be number 61. And the 1-2 to Demerly is chopped foul. The left side of the Dolphins infield all over anything on the ground from Demerly. They continue to play in, even with a 2-strike count. Acosta will try again, 1-2, as she looks to close the door in the top half of the fourth inning. Her pitch on its way, and that's chopped on the ground to short. Moore has it, and the throw is not in time, so Moore did not look to play it nonchalantly. She gave it everything she had, but Demerly with just too much speed, and she beats the throw. And we will get another look at it. It was tough for me to tell just how close the play was, but our engineer Nick Bavona right on it. And that's about as close as it gets, but Demerly appeared to beat it. And with that, Della Vecchia gets a chance with 2 on and 2 out. And the first pitch from Acosta misses for ball 1. Make that a strike on the first pitch as I try and score that last play and follow the action. Thank you to my engineer Nick Bavona for correcting me. Great backup option seated to my right in case I missed something, as Della Vecchia fouls that pitch back for strike 2. So Della Vecchia quickly in a 2-strike hole. Acosta with another chance to bring the top half of the fourth to a close. This next pitch will be her 65th. The 0-2 on its way, and that's outside for ball 1. Della Vecchia in the game is 0 for 1, has walked and grounded out in 2 at-bats. For the Spartans, this would be a good time for her first base hit. And that skips in for ball 2. Acosta now moving into dangerous territory here, as she wants to avoid another 3-ball count at all costs. Two balls and 2 strikes the count. 2 outs in the inning. 2 on base for the Spartans. And Acosta's pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. A big strikeout for Anissa Acosta and the Dolphins, as Acosta sets down Della Vecchia swinging and strands 2 on base for the Spartans. We head to the bottom half of the fourth inning. The score remains 1-0 stack from the CSI Baseball Complex.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins trailing 1-0. Still looking to crack into the run column for the first time this afternoon. They will have 5, 6, and 7 coming to the plate, with Layla Aponte leading things off. Aponte walked in her first at-bat. And the first pitch from Landrum is hit on the ground to second. Astrologo has it, and she throws out Aponte for out number 1. A quick 1 pitch out for Landrum and the Spartans, and Claudia Porcaro will be the batter. Porcaro struck out looking her first time up, and she takes on the outside corner for a called strike 1. Landrum working much quicker than Acosta in the circle, as she misses for ball 1 to Porcaro. 1 ball and 1 strike the count on the Dolphins' first baseman. And that's hit hard past the glove of Astrologo and into right center field. That rolls all the way to the wall. Porcaro is into second base, standing with a one-out double. And once again, the Dolphins have the tying run in scoring position.
Now batting for the Dolphins, right fielder number 1, Alexis Miramontes.
So Porcaro hit that ball sharply on the ground, and she hit it so hard that it split the right center field gap and rolled all the way to the fence. Alexis Miramontes now has an opportunity to tie this game with a base hit, and she takes ball 1. Miramontes grounded out in her first at-bat. Isabel Gallo stands on deck as Miramontes takes downstairs for ball 2. Now, first base is open for the Spartans if they want to pitch Miramontes carefully. And that's chopped on the ground to second. Tough hop for Astrologo, but she handles it no problem and throws out Miramontes for the second out. That will give Isabel Gallo a chance. 2 outs, and the tying run stands over at third base. And the pitch to Gallo is hit right back to the circle. Easy play for Landrum, and that will do it for the Dolphins in the 4th inning. Once again, CSI strands the tying run on base, and they will trail by 1 heading to the 5th.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. Our score still 1-0 as we begin the 5th inning. And Emily Olivier takes up high for ball 1. Olivier 0 for 2 at the plate, has struck out and hit into a fielder's choice. Both teams have had opportunities in this game to score additional runs for the Dolphins. They've yet to score, and the Spartans certainly could be ahead by more than just 1. Stack has stranded 2 on base twice. The Dolphins have stranded the tying run in scoring position no less than 3 times. I'll have to double check. They may have stranded the tying run in scoring position in all 4 innings, as that's ripped into left center field for an extra base hit. Taking the turn and heading to second is Olivier, and she is in standing with a leadoff double. That was some shot into the left center field gap by Olivier. And for the Spartans catcher, that extra base hit makes 7 on the season. That was her 5th double to go along with a triple and a home run. And Abby Landrum is the batter She takes up high for ball one. Landrum is 1 for 2, has singled and struck out in 2 at-bats. A chance for Landrum to help her own cause right here. She's pitched well, and that's hit through the middle for a base hit. Olivier rounds third and will head home with the second Spartans run. It is an RBI single for Abby Landrum, and Stack takes a 2-0 lead. For Landrum, that RBI is her 10th. And that will prompt a visit to the circle from Tracy Garofalo. The entire Dolphins infield will join the conversation, and that is all for Anissa Acosta. CSI will make the pitching change, and Kelsey Strayer was originally penciled in as the CSI starter. For the second time in as many broadcasts, the Dolphins made a late scratch and changed pitchers right before we got underway. And Kelsey Strayer will take over for Anissa Acosta with nobody out here in the 5th inning. 1 on base for the Spartans. The numbers for Strayer on the season are as follows. She comes into the ERA of 8.65 and a whip of 2.4. She's pitched to an 0-2 record across 8 appearances and 6 starts. In 28 and a third innings, she's allowed 61 hits, 45 runs, 35 of those earned. She has walked 7 and struck out 14. She's allowed 15 extra base hits, including 10 doubles, 1 triple, and a home run. 147 opposing batters have hit .415 against Strayer. So Strayer looking to get things right in the circle and is thrust into a situation which sees her inherit 1 base runner. And for the Spartans, it will be their cleanup hitter, Amanda Castro, coming to the plate. Castro is 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch in her first at-bat, then grounded out to second. And the first pitch from Strayer is on its way. And that's up high for ball 1. Abby Landrum is the runner over at first. Her team now leads by 2. Comes the 1-0. That's chopped foul. Landrum is in search of her 5th win on the season. As I mentioned before, she comes in 4-6, and we would presume Carissa Della Vecchia will also be looking for win number 5 in game 2, as she comes in with a record of 4-5. The count now 2 balls and 1 strike on Amanda Castro. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that's hit in the air out to deep right center field, but Carrion has room, and she makes the catch for the first out. The change wasn't passed along to the commentary desk until the conclusion of the last inning, but there was a change in the field for Stack earlier in the game. Sarah Williams took over for Amanda Schweitzer over at third base, and now Williams will get her first at bat. And she takes up high for ball 1. Williams comes in just 2 of 22 on the season. She's ahead in the count here, 1 ball and no strikes. And Strayer's pitch finds the zone for a called strike 1. Comes the 1-1. And that pitch was chased in the dirt by Williams. And she swings over the top of it for strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on the Spartans' third baseman. And Strayer's pitch is chased well out of the zone for strike 3. And Williams clearly unhappy with herself after a couple of bad swings. And she is retired for out number 2.
Left fielder number 18, Tara Hagen.
Tara Hagen will be the batter. She's 0 for 2, has grounded out twice. And the first pitch is hit in the air out to straightaway center. Another chance for carry on, and she makes the catch for the final out of the inning. So the Dolphins do surrender another run, and the book is closed on Anissa Acosta. She allows 2 runs in 4 innings plus, and CSI will trail by 2 heading into the bottom half of the 5th.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back, and my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Jessica Carrion offers at the first pitch in the bottom of the 5th and is retired for the first out. One quick out for the Dolphins in the home half of inning number 5, and it's back to the top of the order.
Now batting for the Dolphins, designated player number 16, Anissa Acosta.
Anissa Acosta is the batter. She's 1 for 1 officially. Has walked and singled. For Abby Landrum, this next pitch is number 53, and it's in for a called strike 1. Despite putting runners on base, Landrum has kept the pitch count down, and this game has really moved along quite quickly, as that's fouled straight back by Acosta. The game came to a grinding halt in the second inning as Acosta worked her way through some adversity, but the Dolphins kept the Spartans off the scoreboard, and we've been moving right along ever since. 1-2 the count on Acosta, and that's fouled away. Last time we covered Dolphin softball here on Sportsnet, we saw a pair of thrilling games, 2 one-run outcomes. So be sure to stay right here as Acosta lines one right into the glove of Astrologo for the second out of the inning. Acosta, even when she makes an out, hits the ball hard, almost without exception.
Now batting for the Dolphins, left fielder number 3, Mariah Carcano.
And Mariah Carcano will be the batter. Carcano is officially 1 for 1. Laid down a sacrifice bunt and singled in 2 plate appearances. Here she's ahead in the count 1-0. And Landrum's 1-0 is taken for ball 2. If Carcano can keep the inning going, Samantha McPherson would be next. And the 2-0 is chopped on the ground right back to the circle, and Landrum throws out Carcano for the third out. It's a quick 1-2-3 inning for Abby Landrum. Her team maintains a 2-run lead. We'll be right back with the 6th inning.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Spartans lead the Dolphins by a score of 2-0. For Stack, 2 runs on 6 hits and no errors. For the Dolphins, no runs on 3 base hits and 1 error. The Spartans will send 7, 8, and 9 to the plate in the 6th inning. Uday Gadsden will get things started. Stack shortstop is 1 for 2, has singled and flown out in 2 at-bats so far. She gets her first look at Kelsey Strayer, who took over for Anissa Acosta in the previous inning. Acosta had just surrendered the second Spartans run when she was yanked from the game by Tracy Garofalo. Strayer then recorded 3 quick outs. And her 1-0 pitch is popped up on the infield, and Aponte makes the catch for the first out. Emily Mayer is the batter.
Right fielder number 6, Emily Mayer.
Mayer's 1 for 1, has singled and walked in 2 plate appearances. Looking ahead to the bottom half of the inning, the Dolphins will have 3, 4, and 5. So good opportunity for CSI to get something going, as they've had a really tough time at the plate putting together multiple base hits. Have had the tying run in scoring position more than once, but have been unable to make anything of it to this point. And they now trail by 2 after trailing by 1 for the first 4 innings. Comes the 0-1 to Mayer, and that's in for a called strike. Mayer now in a 2-strike hole, as Strayer looks to keep rolling in the circle. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. And that is off the outside corner for ball 1. One ball and 2 strikes the count on the Spartans right fielder. Once again, the Dolphins have the infield in all around. And that's in the dirt for ball 2. Dolphins have had the infield in against Mayer and Demerly. Demerly stands on deck. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that's grounded toward the middle, backhanded by Aponte, and she throws out Mayer for the second out. Base is empty and 2 away for Amanda Demerly. Demerly is 1 for 2 in the game. Singled in her last at bat. And would look to keep the inning going right here. Strayer's first pitch to Demerly is up high for a ball. Once again, the Dolphins have the infield in all around. Demerly beat out a grounder for an infield single last time. It was a close play over at first. And that was against an infield that was drawn in, so Dolphins had every opportunity to make that play, but Demerly just had too much speed. She's ahead 2-0 here. And Strayer's 2-0 pitch is blooped in the air to shallow center, where Carrion is positioned perfectly to make the catch for the third out. So it's a 1-2-3 sixth for Kelsey Strayer. Dolphins trail 2-0 with 6 outs to play with.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And Sam McPherson is the batter to open up the bottom half of the 6th inning. Her team trailing by 2 runs, and if the Dolphins are going to stage a comeback, this would be the inning to get started, but McPherson is quickly retired on 1 pitch for the first out. She's now 0 for 3. Elizabeth Moore is the batter. Moore looking to avoid an 0 for 3 game. She's grounded out and hit to a fielder's choice, and Moore quickly sends one right back up the middle for a 1-out base hit. So Moore reaches for the first time, and that will bring the tying run to the plate. Layla Aponte is the batter.
Second baseman number 10, Layla Aponte.
Aponte is 0 for 1, has walked and grounded out. And that pitch is down and in for ball 1. Landrum has thrown just 63 pitches, but that last one, she finds the zone for a called strike. 1-1 the count on the Dolphins' second baseman. And that pitch is hit on the ground to short. It's booted by Gatson, and she loses the play. That error, the first of the game for the Spartans, and it is a big one as the Dolphins now have the tying runs on base.
For the Dolphins, first baseman number 19, Claudia Forcar.
Claudia Porcaro is the batter, certainly a candidate to give the Dolphins the lead. I almost said tie the game, but one big swing could give the Dolphins the lead. And now's a good time to talk about that Porcaro story I had earlier as Claudia takes a called strike, but the Dolphins were trailing on a rainy day in 2019 against St. Joe's, Brooklyn. I believe the deficit was 8 runs at the time, and Porcaro, with a 3-run homer, kept CSI in that game. The Dolphins, as I mentioned, were trailing by 8, ultimately came back to win that game. So CSI certainly not a team you can write off until the final out is recorded. And Porcaro is looking for a big base hit here. An extra base hit could tie this game. And that is fouled off of Porcaro's foot. So she stays alive and remains behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Comes another 1-2 pitch, and that's up high. Just a reminder, if rain does come, we are covered with a tent. Rain is not in the forecast until much later in the afternoon, but should the rain get bad enough, we will have to shut down the stream. Of course, I will let everybody know before we have to do that, as Porcaro fouls back another pitch, but should shutting down the stream become necessary, I will let everyone know, of course, and turn you over to our live stats, which are available at csidolphins.com. So you won't be left completely in the dark, but you will be without my voice the rest of the afternoon if the rain gets bad enough. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Porcaro, and that's swung on and missed for strike 3. A big strikeout for Abby Landrum. And the Dolphins now, down to their last 4 outs, will send Alexis Miramontes to the plate, hoping for at least a base hit to cut this stack lead in half. Once again, an extra base hit could tie it. And Miramontes takes out of the zone for ball 1. Miramontes 0 for 2 at the plate, has grounded out twice. And the 1-0 is offered at. That may have found the outside corner anyway, but it looked like Miramontes offered at that pitch. Miramontes just 1 of 13 at the plate this season. And she takes ball 2. She does have 2 runs batted in. And the 2-1 is chopped foul. Two balls and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins' right fielder. The tying runs once again on base for CSI. They trail by a pair in the home half of the 6th. And the 2-2 pitch is hit over to short. Another chance for Gadsden. And she forces out Aponte at second. That was a close play, but the throw is in time to retire the Dolphins. Once again, CSI strands a pair. Their deficit remains 2 as we head to the 7th inning.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Top of the order due up for the Spartans in the 7th inning as Kelsey Strayer returns to the circle and will look to make it 3 scoreless in relief of Anissa Acosta. Acosta gave up 1 run back in the 1st inning. That run was unearned. And for 4 innings, that run was the difference in the game. But in the 5th, the Spartans were able to scratch out 1 more on a couple of base hits. And their lead is 2-0, beginning what could be the final inning of this first game in today's East Coast Conference doubleheader. I do anticipate we might get started very quickly for Game 2 as we continue to monitor the weather situation. I know these 2 teams are intent on beating the rain, so we will see if they can do that. We sure hope so here at the commentary desk. And once again, this is Joe Foreman alongside Nick Bavona. Nick is not on headset, but he will be in Game 2 As Della Vecchia hits one out to deep center field. Carry-on looks up, but that is a no-doubt solo home run. And I mentioned it earlier, Della Vecchia was without a home run this season. She is without a home run no more, as that solo blast gives the Spartans a 3-0 lead. Carry-on gave that ball a look out of a courtesy to her pitcher, I would presume, but that was a no-doubter off the bat of Della Vecchia. And her first home run of the season is hit to dead center field right over the Dolphin Pride sign. And with that, CSI now trails 3-0. Emily Olivier is the batter, and Olivier takes a called strike. The Spartans catcher is 1 for 3, has struck out, hit into a fielder's choice, and doubled. And Strayer's 0-1 pitch is up and away. Olivier did come around to score the second stack run after her 5th inning double. One ball and 1 strike the count. And Strayer's pitch is fouled back. The Dolphins have gotten good pitching in this game, but behind a lack of offense, especially with runners on base, it has not been enough. Only 3 runs in 6 innings plus for Stack. As that's it on the ground to second. Aponte has it, and she throws out Olivier for out number 1, but the Dolphins need to hit with runners on base, and they simply haven't done it in this game. That being said, CSI did trail 5-0 in Game 1 of the last doubleheader we covered, and they scored 4 runs in that final inning. It appeared as if the 5th run had come home to score, but instead, the game came to an end on an interference call against the batter running to first base. As the Spartans have their 8th hit of the game off the bat of Abby Landrum. She dumps a single into right center field, and Stack now has a 1-out base runner. That will bring Amanda Castro to the plate.
For the Spartans, first baseman number 23, Amanda Castro.
Castro is 0 for 2 in the game, was hit by a pitch, has grounded out and flown out. Castro behind in the count here, 0-1. Sarah Williams is on deck. And that pitch is taken inside. Looking ahead to the home 7th. 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Dolphins. Gallo, Carry-on, Acosta. Strayer will look to keep the deficit at 3 runs. And her 1-1 pitch is up and away for ball 2. And the home plate umpire has called time, and he will motion for the infield umpire as we have a conversation now. Now, it looks like they were just checking in on the count, perhaps. It's the number of outs. Now, one umpire thought there may be 2 outs. There is 1 out. There is certainly 1 out. When you're the home plate umpire and we can audibly hear you saying, "My bad," not the greatest look for you. A bit embarrassing, perhaps. As Nick and I have a good laugh over that one, but play resumes. No harm as that's ripped through the left side for another Spartans base hit. Carcano fields it in left and gets the ball in quickly to make sure that Landrum can't think about third, but all of a sudden, the Spartans are hitting Kelsey Strayer fairly hard, and they have 2 on with just 1 out.
Now batting for the Spartans, third baseman number 22, Sarah Williams.
That will bring Sarah Williams to the plate. Williams is 0 for 1. Struck out in her first at bat and appeared prone to chasing out of the zone. So that's something to keep in mind for Strayer in the circle, as Williams went fishing at 2 bad pitches in her last at bat. At the very least, the Spartans hoping she could move the 2 runners over, and that pitch is in the dirt now. Landrum was about a third of the way over to third base, but scurried back over to second after a look from Gallo. Williams in the driver's seat here, ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Strayer certainly doesn't want to issue the walk here. And she's 1 pitch away from doing so. I mentioned Williams just 1 plate appearance in the game, struck out. Certainly not a batter that you'd want to walk if you're Strayer. Here comes the 3-0. And that's in for a called strike. I doubt the Spartans would send the runners if the count is run full. But at least 1 more pitch until we get there. And the 3-1 is hit up in the air. Out to shallow left. Carcano is under it and makes the catch for the second out. Nice job there by Strayer to battle back and record the second out. And that will be left to Tara Hagan. Hagan is 0 for 3. A base hit here could give the Spartans some insurance. 1 run, maybe 2, but that won't do it as Aponte once again knocks it down with the glove, recovers, and throws out Hagan for the third out. So the deficit for the Dolphins will be 3 as they are down to their final 3 outs. 8, 9, and 1 due up for CSI after this break.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Stop to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Codify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Bottom half of the 7th inning from the CSI softball complex about to get started. And the home team is trailing 3-0. CSI looking to make it interesting in the 7th once again. They did so in their last home doubleheader. Came from behind in Game 1, coughed up a lead in Game 2. They are playing from behind here as Isabel Gallo looks at ball 1 to open up the home 7th. Gallo is 0 for 2 and make it 1 for 3 as that ball gets by the diving Mayer. It rolls all the way to the wall, and Gallo is into third base standing with a leadoff triple. Good effort by Mayer there. She could have played it on a bounce and kept the ball in front of her. Instead, chose to dive, and we will see if that decision proves costly. As we will have a pinch hitter for the Dolphins, Jacqueline Cateridge will pinch hit for Jessica Carrion. We've seen Cateridge used as a pinch runner on more than one occasion, gets a chance to hit here. Cateridge, along with Claudia Porcaro and Sam McPherson, the three longest tenured players on this Dolphins team. Their tenure with CSI extends back to Division III. As Cateridge chops one over to first, that is a fair ball, and Gallo will come in to score. Now, they did rule Cateridge out at first. I thought so, as the Spartans threw home after stepping on first base. So Cateridge is out. The Dolphins are on the board. They score a run. And that Della Vecchia home run looming much larger right now, as that gave the Spartans a bit of an extra cushion. And fortunately for Stack, they will not be forced to face Anissa Acosta as the tying run at the plate. And Acosta took a big swing at that first pitch, but came up empty for strike one. Here comes the 0-1. And that's up high. Acosta looking for her second base hit of the game. She's 1 for 2 at the plate. And that is lined straight into the glove of Demerly in center field for the second out. Dolphins now down to their final out. And it will be left to Mariah Carcano.
For the Dolphins, left fielder number 3, Mariah Carcano.
Carcano looking for her second base hit of the game as well. And she's ahead in the count here, 1-0. And the scoreboard power is out. But it comes back quickly, and it won't matter, as Carcano hits it right back to the circle and is thrown out at first for the final out of the game. So the Dolphins do get one back in the 7th, but they will drop the first game of today's ECC doubleheader by 2 runs. Our final score, 3-1. The final line for the Spartans, 3 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors. For the Dolphins, 1 run on 5 hits and 1 error. This has been Joe Foreman, and I will be joined on the call for Game 2 by Nick Bavona, my engineer for Game 1. So double duty for Nick when we come back for Game 2 here on the ECC Network. Dolphins drop Game 1, Game 2 coming up.
Della Vecchia.
And welcome back to the CSI Softball Complex for Game 2 of today's East Coast Conference doubleheader between the College of Staten Island and St. Thomas Aquinas College. The Spartans took Game 1 by a final score of 3-1, and Game 2 opens with a ball from Dolphins starting pitcher Alexis Miramontes. The first batter she will face is Carissa Della Vecchia, who wrapped up her Game 1 with a long home run over the center field wall, and that pitch evens up the count at 1-1 strike. Once again, this is Joe Foreman, joined for Game 2 by my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona.
Joe, it's a pleasure to be here. Great first game we had here. Spartans took that one 3-1, and we're going to see what happens here in Game 2. Hopefully CSI plays a little bit better, try to get some runners in.
We do apologize, or at the very least, I have an issue with Nick's audio, but I'm not sure if that issue is translating to the broadcast or not. I see he is registering some levels, but I can't hear him, so we'll have to get that taken care of during the break. The count 1-2 strikes on Della Vecchia, and she takes outside for ball 2. The numbers for Dolphins starting pitcher Alexis Miramontes following this next pitch. And that's hit well to straightaway left, and unable to make the catch was Carcano. Into second with a stand-up double is Carissa Della Vecchia, and the Spartans have the leadoff runner on.
You're going to see right here, ripped it into left field. Almost a nice play by the left fielder for the Dolphins, but unfortunately, a leadoff double for the Spartans put them on with a runner in scoring position.
Emily Olivier is the batter. And the first pitch to Olivier is on the outside corner for a called strike. Della Vecchia, the runner at second. Nobody out in the opening inning. And that's hit softly to short. More bobbles, and she lost the play. So rather than forcing a throw to first, more wisely held on to that ball. But once again, it's a first-inning error for the Dolphins, and for the second straight game, it's 2 first-inning base runners for the Spartans.
And the first game, that cost the Dolphins a big, crucial run in the first inning. So now, hopefully that doesn't happen here at the top of the first inning for the Dolphins again, but we'll have to save the guy out of this jam.
And that's hit in the air. Shallow right field. Could be trouble. And unable to make the diving catch was Mockery. And each runner will advance a base. And I think the home plate umpire just called an infield fly.
On a fly ball to right field, too.
You've got to be kidding me if that's the call. There's no way. If that is the call, that is one of the all-time worst calls I've ever seen.
The batter is out.
Wow. I think that...
Joe, we saw some questionable calls in the first game, too, and again, it's the same thing here.
I cannot believe that call, Nick.
I'm not sure about that call.
I'm sure about it. I'm sure it was wrong.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
I'm not sure if the audience heard me before, but we saw questionable calls in the first game, too, with this umpiring crew. And, once again, there's a crucial one right there. Big first out for the Dolphins, but if you're the Spartans, you're not happy about that call at all.
Not at all, and I'm just in shock. So the batter is Amanda Castro, and she's quickly ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And that's hit through the right side for a base hit. That will score at least one. And one run is in to score, as holding at third was Olivier, and on with an RBI single is Amanda Castro.
Well, that infield fly roll didn't seem to cost the Spartans at all right there. A nice single into right field to put the Spartans on the board. And once again, another error in the first inning for the Dolphins, costing them an early run. So you're going to want to try to get a double play right here to get out of this inning, avoid a further damage.
Well, there's still a chance that this run will go down as unearned as a result of that error, but we will see if Miramontes can record the second out before a run would have come home. The runner who reached via the error stands on third. That's Olivier. And the first pitch to Emily Mayer is up high for ball one. And Tracy Garofalo will emerge from the Dolphins' dugout. Kelsey Strayer looks like she's throwing with a purpose in the CSI bullpen, but this does not appear to be a visit for a pitching change.
And we saw her pitch in the first game of this doubleheader. And other than the home run, she did not pitch that bad. She had a great, solid outing, just that one big fly to center field in the seventh inning. That was the major damage. But other than that, she pitched a pretty solid game out of the pen.
So Mayer steps back into the box. McPherson is playing about halfway in at third. The rest of the Dolphins infield is back. And Mayer swings and misses at that pitch. Big swing by Mayer. Count 1 strike. And Mayer thought about offering there, but was able to hold up. And the count goes to 2-1.
And we saw the Spartans do this in the first game. They worked the count up, were able to force big-time errors for the Dolphins. So they're trying to do this again here in the second game, and so far it's working out to their advantage.
And the 2-1 pitch is fouled back. Mayer barely got a piece. And the count runs to 2 strikes. Dolphins gave up one in the first inning of game one, have given up one here in the first inning of game two. Mayer with a chance to add to the one-run lead, and that won't do it as she swings and misses for strike three, and that's a big strikeout for Alexis Miramontes.
And you said it, Joe. That's a huge strikeout to get a big second out of the inning. Now you could get a force at second and first and get out of this jam with only giving up one run. That could be huge for CSI right here.
Amanda Demerly is the batter, and a big opportunity here for Demerly. Demerly was hitting ninth in game one. Moves up to the sixth spot here in game two. And the first pitch from Miramontes is up high. The runner at third is Olivier. Castro stands over at first. That's downstairs for ball two. Hitters count here for Demerly. She's ahead 2-0. Pitch from Miramontes is on its way, and that is bunted foul. Two balls and one strike the count on the Spartan center fielder. Miramontes looking to work around an error. As of right now, the one run that has come home for Stack is unearned. And that pitch is taken for ball three.
This is not the situation you want to be in. 3-1 count. You walk them here. Bases are loaded. So if you're CSI, you want to get this big third out to get out of the inning. Keep it a one-run score.
Dolphins looking for a big out The Spartans looking to load the bases, and that is bunted foul. Count is now full on Demerly. Castro over at first can get a head start.
Anything into the gap while that head start, that could easily be a second run right there. Bring on both of them. So this is a huge pitch upcoming here, 3-2.
The pitch count right now is approximate for me since I had to catch up on that infield fly, but this is about number 21, and it gets through the legs of McPherson. The Dolphins have no play, and a run comes home to score.
Yeah, man, that is another crucial defensive error for CSI right there. Had a chance to get out of the inning, and unfortunately, it's going to bring home a second run. And now it's first and second, it's 2 outs, and now 2-0 game. As you see on the replay, it just goes under her legs, and it's unfortunately it's going to bring home the run. So now 2-0 score here. We're here in the top of the first.
That is a brutal error for the Dolphins, as they should have been out of this inning long ago. And now every run from this point forward will be unearned, as Miramontes has allowed just 2 base hits in the inning. 2 runs are in to score, and the Spartans still have 2 on base for Uday Gadsden. And now Gadsden is ahead, 2 balls and no strikes.
You got to wonder if she's getting visibly frustrated with the inning, to how it's gone so far.
Comes the 2-0, and that's up high. Oh, that's a letter high strike. Two and one is the count, and I think everyone was fooled by that last pitch.
I was fooled. I put it 3-0. I thought the count was 3-0 on that pitch, but they ruled it a strike, and now we're going to have a talk between the 2 umpires. And I said it earlier, Joe. I mean, there was a couple of issues in the first game with the strike zone. Change of the umpires, and it seems that we have the same issues as before. So, see how the rest of this game goes.
I can't believe they didn't know how many outs there were. That's what got me.
That got me, too. That was unbelievable.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
In the middle of the at-bat, nonetheless.
Such odd timing, and then in this game we have that infield fly call. Can't say we've seen that often, if ever.
Just another day at CSI, as they would say.
They would say that, as Gadsden chops that pitch foul. I would certainly say that. You're learning quickly. Spoken like a true Sportsnet veteran. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count.
Both runners are going to be moving. So here we go right now. 3-2. Everyone's going to be moving on the pitch.
And Gadsden was able to hold up.
Wow.
I'm not sure about that either, Nick.
Oh, man, this has been a interesting first inning, to say the least.
Interesting is a very kind word.
Very, very kind.
Wow.
Looked like she check swung, and I thought that was going to be strike 3, but instead it's bases loaded now for the Spartans, and they have a chance to really open this game up right now.
I thought she went, which is why I thought it was strike 3.
I thought so, too.
Tough angle for us, though. We're behind the plate on about a 45-degree angle, so not a great position for us to make that judgment. But judging by Gadsden's reaction, which we are in a good position to assess, I think she believed she swung.
100%. So it says she was gifted the walk, and now bases loaded, 1-0 count.
Well, to be fair, the Dolphins were gifted an out earlier in the inning.
This is true. 2 crucial errors, and, you got to make those up somehow. And, if you allow those to happen, it's going to come back to bite you.
The Dolphins were gifted an out. They gifted 2 back.
Yep.
Miramontes able to find the zone with that 2-0 pitch to Tara Hagan. Hagan had 2 balls and 1 strike. Still in the driver's seat here. Miramontes now up over 30 pitches. And that's it on the ground. McPherson can't make the diving stop, and that's into left field for a base hit. 2 runs come in to score, and the Spartans have a 4-run first inning lead.
And we talked about the errors and the crucial mistakes have really hurt CSI. Plus, not getting that strike three right there hurt them so much. As you see right here, it's a base hit to left field. 2 runs now score. It's 4-0 Spartans here in the first inning as CSI is going to have a mound visit, try to figure this one out. Maybe a pitching change, it looks like.
It's their second visit to the circle in this inning, so it is indeed a pitching change for CSI. And Kelsey Strayer comes out of the Dolphins' dugout with her team trailing by 4 runs in the opening inning. When Nick and I come back, the Dolphins are still in search of the third out.
As a student athlete in college, I first got involved with the NCAA at the national level. It was through the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, SAC, gave me an opportunity to advocate on behalf of all student athletes, to affect change and to make an impact. The NCAA is giving the student athlete a platform to voice their concerns and to be able to advocate for what's going to affect their well-being. The policies that are being put in place are speaking towards academics, they're speaking towards well-being, they're speaking towards fairness, creating a culture so that the student athletes have the best experiences possible.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
Car is damaged, where you take it is your decision. But insurance companies would like you to think otherwise. While they may have a lot of pull, it may not always be in the best interest of your car. Your car will be fixed right and on time. What insurance company can argue with that?
Call Dependable Auto Body at 718-447-4898.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins trailing 4-0 in the opening inning as Stack has benefited from 2 Dolphins errors. And every run that has come across in this opening inning has been unearned for the Spartans. 4 runs also prompted a CSI pitching change as Kelsey Strayer comes in out of the Dolphins bullpen for the second consecutive game on this day. She gave up 1 run in 3 innings of work in game 1. And Astrologo swings over that pitch for strike 2. Kim Astrologo is the Spartans' second baseman. Standing over at second base is Renee Gadsden, and at first is Tara Hagan. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that is swung on and missed for strike 3. So the Dolphins finally close the door on this first inning, but not before 4 runs come home for the Spartans, all of them unearned. The Spartans strand a pair, and heading into the bottom half of inning number 1, the Dolphins trail 4-0.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
My path to a college degree would have been completely different had I not run Division II cross country for the University of Mount Olive. Having an athletic and academic scholarship was key for my success. Our coaches were really helpful with balancing out my academics and athletics. I decided to attend graduate school because I wanted to become an athletic director. Receiving the postgraduate scholarship through the NCAA provided me with the flexibility to choose the school that I wanted. So now I know that I can accomplish any goal that I set for myself.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins trail by 4 runs in the first inning. And Mariah Carcano will be the batter. She takes up high for ball 1. And Nick, that was a very interesting first inning, to say the least.
I've watched baseball all my entire life, Joe, and I can't say I've never seen a first inning like that. As there's a bunt down the third base line, throw on to first is in time for the first out of the bottom of the first inning.
One quick out for the Dolphins, and Anissa Acosta will be the batter. Acosta was Game 1 starting pitcher for CSI. And that pitch powered by Acosta from Carissa Dellavecchia. I mentioned some of Dellavecchia's numbers during Game 1. Comes in 4-5 with an ERA up around 4.6. And the 0-1 misses high.
And during the break, we saw CSI. There was a fiery speech by their dugout. And, after the first thing they had, they have to pick it up here in the bottom of the first, get some runners on, force the counts, try to get some hits, because first game we saw, they had so much trouble bringing home the runners in. They left a lot of runners to score in position, and it ultimately cost them the game.
We've spoken about it more than once on the air this year, particularly when it came to men's baseball during their doubleheader against Bloomfield earlier in the season. And it's hard to believe we've only covered baseball and softball twice each, but in baseball's first doubleheader here on Sportsnet, they did not hit with runners in scoring position. That ultimately hurt them in the second game. They had one big hit with men on base in Game 1, couldn't come up with the big hit in Game 2, and we saw it for this Dolphins softball team during Game 1, unable to come away with that big hit, as you mentioned.
And their only run they got was on a fielder's choice, so they weren't really able to capitalize as much as they wanted to. They got a leadoff triple in the 7th inning. Looked like momentum was changing to their side, and then one quick out, and then all the momentum went away. So we got a 2-2 pitch right here.
Unfortunately, we don't have detailed stats like what I'm about to say, but if we had stats for hits with runners on base available to us readily, I would go as far as to say the Dolphins may have had none, at most had one. At most. I think they did have one, but I think that was it. As Acosta chases out of the zone and strikes out for the second out in the home first.
That's a big strikeout for the Spartans, considering the way Acosta's been hitting so far the young season.
They've kept her in check today.
They have.
As Sam McPherson takes a called strike. In check at this point for Acosta is in the ballpark. She has 4 home runs. Had a couple of hits in Game 1 as McPherson takes off the outside corner.
Some of the outs that she had in the first game, they were quick line drives to either the second baseman or the center fielder. She hits the ball very well. The Spartans have done a great job keeping her container. There's a ground ball to short. Throw on to first is in time, and a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Spartans right there.
Dellavecchia could not have asked for a better start in the circle. She sets the Dolphins down in order, and CSI trails 4-0 heading to the second.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2. Where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we are back from the CSI softball complex. Joe Foreman alongside Nick Bavona on the call. And Nick, the Dolphins give up 4 in the top half of the first, quickly go down 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the first.
And we were just talking about it. CSI has just not capitalized on many hitting opportunities today. They've swung at a lot of first and second pitches, really haven't worked the count. And it's costing them a lot. That's why Spartans have had a lot of success today. They've forced the count, have gotten a couple of walks, couple of big line drive singles, and, they've been fatiguing these Dolphin pitchers. So they've done a good job of that. CSI hasn't really been able to capitalize on the other side.
You said it, Nick. Miramontes was well over 30 pitches when she was pulled in the first inning. And for the second consecutive game, Kelsey Strayer is on in relief. First batter she will face is the leadoff hitter for the Spartans, Carissa Dellavecchia, her counterpart in the circle, and Dellavecchia takes a called strike one. Dellavecchia closed game one, or at least in her last at-bat, homered. And here in game two, opened play with a double.
And you could tell right off the rip, once she swung at that ball, it was going right over the center field wall. I even made the motion as if I was the umpire. I knew it was going right off the bat. A nice crushing shot to center field to, entice the lead. And it was big because a 2-1 game is way different than a 3-1 game. That was a big insurance run.
Sure was. They almost needed it in that final half inning. And the way you threw up that home run signal, you might be fit to be out there today, Nick.
They might need me at this rate, though. It's been a rough start for the umpires today.
Everything was fine until late in game one, and it's gotten a bit suspect since.
Yeah, you could say that at the least.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count on the Spartans pitcher. Strayer was ahead 0-2 in this at-bat, trying not to lose Dellavecchia. And that's grounded to second. Nice play by Aponte, who flips over to Acosta for the first out.
That's big for CSI. I mean, you saw the first inning one. I mean, they weren't able to get crucial early on outs. Big defensive errors really cost them the inning. And right there, a big-time play. Nice flip over to the first baseman. And it's a crucial first out for CSI. They got to try to get some quick outs right here and try to get some runs at the bottom of the inning.
Emily Olivier is the batter. One of a pair of Spartans who reached on a first-inning Dolphins error. Olivier did ultimately come around to score. 4 unearned runs for Stack in the first inning. That's an ugly swing there by Olivier.
It's kind of a half-hearted swing on that one. Didn't know if she wanted to swing or not at that. And see right there.
You could see from here she was a bit disgusted with herself after that swing. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And that's hit in the air out to deep right field. Moving back towards the wall is Mockery, but she makes the catch for the second out.
Well, she might be happy about that swing at least. Drove out the right field. Almost looked like from here it's going to keep carrying, but big second out for CSI.
And the wind is beginning to pick up just a bit. We did take a look at the forecast ahead of this game. The umpire came over to get a forecast from us as well. We had one app tell us rain incoming, imminent, at 3 p.m., which would be in 15 minutes. As that's it up in the air to shallow right center. Could be trouble, and that falls for a base hit. So Abby Landrum is on with a 2-out single, but another app said likely no rain until 8 or 9 p.m., so that's a big difference.
Well, Joe, as we're sitting here, the single right there, we're not any meteorologists, so we can't really tell if it is going to rain or not. Hopefully that's not the case around 3 o'clock. Hopefully we can get this game in. Keep it windy. We'll take the windy part of it. No rain, but we'll see what happens around 3 o'clock.
Well, I've been working games here at the CSI Softball Complex for a long time, and I'm somewhat of a meteorologist. So if I had to guess, I would say that the rain will come just in time for us to start breaking down, so we have to rush. As that's hit on a line to right field.
Man.
It gets by Mockery and rolls all the way to the fence. Around third is Landrum to score the 5th Spartans run. And Castro thought about it, but will hold at third. That's going to be a single and a 2-base error on Mockery as a run comes home to score and the Spartans lead 5-0.
This is just not been a good defensive day so far for CSI. They've had the error in the first game. Now they have 3 already here in the second game. And what should have been a routine single turns into a double and an error, and now it's 5-0. Bad start for CSI.
Just poor defense from the Dolphins infield and outfield right now as that skips into Emily Mayer for ball 1. Mayer struck out swinging in her first plate appearance. The margin for error for the Dolphins against their conference opponents just so slim. A lot of talent in the East Coast Conference. And the Dolphins have been right there in many of these games as that's caught by carry-on for the third out. But 3 errors through 2 innings are mistakes the Dolphins simply can't afford.
Absolutely not, Joe. They have to fix that in the next couple of innings. If they want to get back into this game, we'll see what happens the rest of the way out.
So we head to the bottom half of the second. The Dolphins now trailing by 5. We'll be right back with more East Coast Conference softball here on CSI Sportsnet.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor. It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island with the Dolphins now trailing by 5 runs in the bottom half of the second inning. 4, 5, and 6 due up for CSI. Moore, Aponte, and Cateridge. Elizabeth Moore was 1 of 3 in game 1, and she comes up empty on a big swing right there. Moore fouls that pitch back, and she's quickly in a 2-strike hole. Delavecchia working quickly. Here's the 0-2 pitch. That's up high for ball 1.
Looks like CSI's got another pitcher warm up in their pen. Has been a rough day so far for the pitching so far here in the second game. Pitching was not bad in the first game for them, but a lot of pitch count forced by the Spartans, and now we're seeing it here. There's a strikeout for the first out of the bottom of the second.
But Delavecchia powered that one by Moore. She was way late on that high fastball, and Moore's a strikeout victim for the first out. But, Nick, we did see in the Dolphins' bullpen during Game 1, Jacqueline Cateridge was throwing.
Yep.
Did not come in. Right now, Nicole Rivera is throwing, so we'll see if she gets in. As Layla Aponte is way behind that fastball. Delavecchia overpowering these Dolphins hitters right now. And the 0-1's hit on the ground to the right side. Sliding stop by Astrologo, and a scoop by Castro for the out.
That was a great play by the second baseman right there. That's huge because error can give CSI some momentum, but a nice job to keep it in front of herself, able to flip it onto the first baseman, and a big second out for the Spartans.
Well, we saw what the consequences of errors can be, and that would not have been an error on that play, but good infield defense goes a long way towards keeping runs off the scoreboard. And it sounds so simple, but you take a look up at the scoreboard and a couple of miscues, and all of a sudden you're in a 4-run hole.
Yep.
If you're the Dolphins during the first inning, another error in the second inning helped extend that lead to 5 runs.
That's the biggest reason why they're in this deficit right now.
Count 0-2 on Jacqueline Cateridge. Cateridge saw 1 pitch in game 1 and takes up high there. Cateridge did have the lone Dolphins RBI in the first game. Comes the 1-2 pitch. And Cateridge held up. Well, Nick, if they had rung her up on that pitch.
Yeah. I just looked towards you just because of that. So make sure.
I was about to be very upset. Just for the sake of fairness, of course. We're impartial here. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that's fouled straight back.
Listen, we can give the umpires all the crap we want, but we're no umpires ourselves. But that right there, if that was called third strike, that would have been another very interesting call so far here, only in the second inning.
Well, Nick, we do have an umpire on the crew. He isn't here today, but Nick Durst is somewhat of an umpire.
True. I've seen him in his outfit.
As that's through the legs of Castro at first and into right field. And that's going to be the first Spartans' error. So Cateridge is on, and Isabel Gallo will be the batter.
Well, this is an opportunity for CSI. I mean, might be only a runner at first, but you need some kind of spark right now with a 5-run deficit. And maybe that is the spark that gets them on the board. As you saw there, I mean, just went right past the first baseman. Now a chance maybe for CSI to get home a run finally.
That ball was hit fairly hard, but no doubt that was an error, right, Nick?
Yeah, for where I'm looking, she could have made the play probably. It was a bang play. I played first base before, and I've seen that. It's a very tough play.
So hit or error?
I would have to go error.
I agree with you.
Joe Masha also went error, so we're also going to we'll go off of what he says.
Whatever he says, that is the final ruling, though. He isn't our statistician today.
True.
Louis Matrone is. So
that is
technically,
true.
Louis is the boss.
We'll most likely have a conversation with him during the break and before the top of the third inning about what he scored that. I would have to assume
an
error, but
error is the right call.
That's what I would go with.
And that's taken up high by Gallo for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins catcher. And Gallo swings through that pitch for strike 3. So Della Vecchia strands Cateridge over at first, and her team maintains a 5-run lead as the wind begins to pick up here at the CSI Softball Complex.
The Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
And we're back from the CSI Softball Complex, and we have a disagreement at the stats desk.
Oh, man.
So we're going to find out who's Team Joe and who's Team Lewis. Team Joe Masha would have given that ground ball to first a hit, and Team Louis Matrone, error.
I'm going to have to agree with Lou. I don't think that was base hit. I think that was an error. I mean, we were saying if she had dove for the ball, I guess maybe you can give that a hit for CSI, but
you can't. It was an error.
It's 100% an error.
It was an error.
I agree with Joe on some things, but that's definitely not one thing. That's definitely not something I agree with.
I'll add it to the list for me.
How high is that list? It's a very high list, low list.
We'll keep that between Joe and I. As the 1-0 pitch to Amanda Demerly is taken out of the zone for ball 2. Demerly reached on an error back in the first inning. 4 errors combined between the two teams, but 3 of them belonging to the Dolphins. And right now, those 3 errors have accounted for 4 runs. But, Nick, I think when it comes down to it at the end of the day, the Dolphins have to start hitting. And right now, they just haven't gotten it done at the plate. No hits in this game and very limited offense in game 1.
I believe they had, 5 hits in the first game, too?
That sounds about right. I think you are right. 5 hits. 1 run on 5 hits as that rolls foul.
They were able to work a good amount of counts, but you're right. They had a good amount of hits, and then they just couldn't capitalize with those hits. They weren't able to bring home the runs. They only got that run in the 7th inning off a ground ball. So it's been a rough day for CSI hitting.
2 balls and 2 strikes the count on Demerly. Strayer's pitch on its way, and that is on the outside corner for a called strike 3. So Strayer picks up the strikeout to open up the 3rd inning, and that will bring Rude Gadsden to the plate. For Strayer, that strikeout was her first. Make that her second.
42, Rudy Gadsden.
And the first pitch to Gadsden is in for a called strike 1. Gadsden walked in her first at-bat.
Hey, your pitch, Rue, your pitch. Here we go.
Comes the 0-1. And that's it out to shallow center field. Carry-on comes in and plays it on a hop.
And we've seen that a lot for the Spartans. They're getting a lot of bloop singles, and it's hurting CSI because they're getting. You can see that. You could honestly tell from here, from where I'm sitting, they're getting visibly frustrated with how this game's gone and how the first game went. Another bloop single right there, and now runner at first for the Spartans.
I think that frustration is justified, but on the other side, the Dolphins have made mistakes in the field that have prolonged innings as well. So combine that with tough luck, and you're in a difficult position as it's back-to-back base hits for the Spartans. First Gadsden with the bloop single. Now Tara Hagan lines a base hit into straightaway right. And for the Spartans, they now have 7 hits in the game, and that will bring Kim Astrologo to the plate with 2 runners on.
Number 7, Kim Astrologo.
There's another jam for CSI they got to get out of. Can't give up any more runs than you currently end. You've been having trouble to score all day. Already down 5-0, and more runs right here really could smell defeat right here for the Dolphins. They gotta get out of the inning somehow.
I think it's safe to say the Dolphins really can't afford to fall behind by any more right now, as that's an out, and it sure is. Home plate umpire all over it, I thought, unless that ball was in the batter's box, which would keep Astrologo alive, and I think that was the ruling.
That was the ruling.
That was awfully close.
We saw in the first game that it hit the bat that caused an out. This time around, it looked like it went just foul before it hit her, so kind of a break for the Spartans, a big break, you would say, for the Spartans. Now they get another chance to maybe bring home the run.
Well, Astrologo bunted that ball straight down into her own foot, and her foot nearly dragged the softball out of the batter's box, but the ball was already ruled dead in the box, which has become very faint at this point. Hard to see. 1-1 the count on Astrologo, and that's popped up foul. So Strayer is 1 strike away from a big second out. It's back to the top of the order after this with Carissa Della Vecchia standing in the on-deck circle. That makes this out that much bigger. And that misses outside for ball 2.
Well, Joe, we hit our 3 p.m. mark, so let's see if the weather keeps the way it's currently going. But you're the meteorologist, so we'll see how it keeps going for the next couple of minutes. Hopefully, no rain.
I'll have to lick the thumb and see which direction the wind is blowing, and then I can tell you whether or not the rain is coming. As the 2-2 pitch misses downstairs for ball 3.
This is a bad count right now for CSI. They got to get the out. A walk right here could be very, very bad for them.
Here comes the payoff pitch, and that is in for a called strike 3. So Kelsey Strayer picks up a huge strikeout and will face Carissa Della Vecchia with 2 on and 2 outs in the road third inning.
So far, the biggest out of the game right there for CSI. Able to get the big strikeout, to get a second out, and now a chance to get out of the inning without any further damage, keep the game 5-0.
Della Vecchia already 2 at-bats. This is her third. She's 1 for 2 at the plate, and as a pitcher, if you're getting a third at-bat in the third inning, you have to like the position you're in.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, she's been able to take the advantage of the costly errors from CSI, plus very good hitting from the Spartans today. Already 7 hits in the third inning.
And that ball is ripped into the right field corner.
That's a fair ball.
That is a fair ball. It rattles around in the right field corner. In to score is Gadsden, held at third of Hagen. And Della Vecchia is in with a double, and she has an RBI. Spartans now lead 6-0.
And you were just saying that if you're a pitcher trying to get a third at bat, I mean, it's just telling you that the way this game has gone great for you. And she rips it into right field, just stays fair. Big RBI double, 6-0 Spartans, and just continues to get worse and worse for CSI.
You get the feeling that out, that at bat, could be the difference between this game ending in 5 innings, or the Dolphins perhaps making a push to try and get back in this thing. And a base hit here makes it an 8-run game, which means the mercy rule would come into play after the 5th inning.
And Joe, we went from a pitcher's duel in the first game to, before I can finish my statement, that's a blooper in the left. 1-run scores, 2-run score. It's 8-0 Spartans here in the third inning.
And Stack has broken this game open as Emily Olivier delivers a 2 RBI double to put St. Thomas Aquinas College ahead 8-0. Spartans have jumped on to Kelsey Strayer here in this third inning, and the Dolphins will talk it out in the circle. High fives exchanged by the Dolphins, and Strayer will get back to work as she faces Abby Landrum with a runner on second. Still 2 outs. We're just in the third inning.
Landrum had a very, very good first game pitching. Was able to contribute so much for the Spartans, and looking to do it right here, give it a 9-0 lead here in the third inning.
Landrum, the winning pitcher in game 1. Chance to register an RBI here. She takes up and away, and now's a good time to talk about what happened to Landrum in her first at-bat. One of the most unorthodox plays we've ever seen. An infield fly into shallow right field. The Dolphins could not make the dive and catch, but because infield fly was the ruling, the batter was out, and here Landrum picks up the base hit.
And you said it, Joe, I've never seen an infield fly roll on a shallow fly ball to right field, nonetheless. And definitely an unorthodox call, but, you know, it's not ruining the Spartan spirit as they continue to, get base hits here and there. And big 8-0 lead. Now they might make it even more with a runner on third and 2 outs.
Runners on the corners for Amanda Castro, and she grounds one through the left side for another Spartans base hit. And for Stack, the 9th run of the game comes in to score, and that will bring Tracy Garofalo out of the CSI dugout. And we are going to have a pitching change. So Nicole Rivera will come into the game, and we speculated as to whether or not she would get into the circle in this one, but here she is, and Nicole Rivera will take the rubber with her team trailing by 9 runs in the third inning.
And if you're CSI, you don't really want to make a third pitching change in the third inning, but that's just the way this game has gone for CSI and how it's gone for the Spartans. I mean, it's basically batting practice for them right now. 11 hits in the third inning. They're doing a great job, and they've also taken advantage of the 3 errors by CSI. They've been able to get so many runners on, and they've been capitalized with runners to score in position. And that's why they're up 9-0.
For Nicole Rivera, this appearance is her 4th of the season. She's also started 2 games for CSI. She comes in with an ERA of 8.17, a whip of 2.17. In 6 innings, she's allowed 12 hits, 9 runs, 7 of those earned. She's walked 1, struck out 1, and allowed 4 extra base hits, including 3 doubles and a triple. 32 opposing batters hitting at .375 against her. And Rivera got an extended look last year for the Dolphins, or I should say we got an extended look at Rivera pitching for CSI, as Rivera started quite a few games for the Dolphins in the second half of the season. Jacqueline Cateridge opened the year as CSI's number 2, and down the stretch, Rivera took over that role behind Emily Korick, who is no longer with the team. And Rivera's first pitch misses high for ball 1 to Emily Mayer. And the 1-0 is fouled back by Mayer.
Mayer has kind of the Ichiro approach, moving up in the batter's box with the swing. I like that. One of my favorite players growing up.
We had an opposing player for Nyack in the last softball doubleheader we covered. I believe her name was Izzy Murillo, as the Dolphins have an easy out over at third. I'm not sure what Landrum was thinking, but the inning is over. My point was that this particular player, Murillo, would come to the plate and basically show half swing. So the bat would be parallel to the front of home plate, and that was her approach at the dish. And late in that game, Dolphins had a 3-run lead. In the final inning, Murillo hit a 3-run homer and tied the game.
Really?
CSI walked it off in the bottom of the 7th. But
wow.
We are headed to the bottom of the 3rd here on this afternoon. East Coast Conference softball. Spartans lead the Dolphins 9-0.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex as Avery Mockery leads things off for the Dolphins in the bottom half of the 3rd. This is Mockery's first plate appearance of the game, and she looked a bit overpowered on that first pitch. Comes the 0-1. And that's in for a called strike 2, and we can see it, Nick. Delavecchia is throwing hard.
She's throwing gas, to say the least. And you've seen CSI, they've been overpowered by that fastball, looks like, and they can't seem to put the ball on the bat. Or the bat on the ball, I should say. And now it's hurting them very, very much. No hits here in the 3rd inning compared to the 11 from the Spartans.
Once again, the wind beginning to pick up, and I don't envy the players out in the field trying to keep that dirt out of their eyes as Mockery goes up the ladder and swings through that fastball for strike 3.
And once again, just throwing the fastball right past them, and it has been a tough day for CSI hitting. Very good game in the first game for Landrum pitching-wise, and now here in the second game, they can't hit the fastball, and it's hurting them.
That strikeout is Delavecchia's 4th. She is ready to work as soon as the Dolphins hitter steps into the box. She's keeping this game moving.
She's all business today.
She knows the forecast.
She is a meteorologist.
Maybe. As the 1-0 pitch is in for a called strike 1. But on a more positive note, the sun is beginning to peek through the clouds a bit. I see some blue sky out in center field. As that's an ugly swing there by Carrion. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count on the Dolphins center fielder. And the 1-2 pitch is fouled back.
Well, if you're CSI, this is what you want to do. You want to keep fouling off some pitches, work the count, try to get some kind of runners on because so far it hasn't worked to their advantage. They've been swinging a lot of first and second pitches, usually leading to either ground outs. They've been striking out a couple times here and there, so got to force the count, as that's not going to do it there.
No. As Carrion goes down on a half swing for the second out, and that's Delavecchia's second strikeout of the inning.
Now batting for the Dolphins, the left fielder, number 3.
It's been another issue for CSI today. They've had a lot of half-hearted swings and some ugly swings, and you can tell this game has just gone from bad to worse for them.
Delavecchia is working so quickly that the walk-up music hadn't even stopped playing yet.
Like I said, she's all business. She's ready to go.
And that's chopped on the ground slowly by Carcano, and she's thrown out for the final out of the inning. So the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the third. They are still hitless and trail 9-0 heading to the fourth.
You Know 'Em Right is the podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, entertainment, and pop culture. On the show, hosts Nick and Joe walk guests through the retelling of their humble beginnings, covering an array of topics from specific interests and hobbies to personal opinions regarding each facet of their industry. You Know 'Em Right offers insight on how to adapt and advance, and offers alternative advice as opposed to a one-size-fits-all strategy. Above all else, the number one goal of You Know 'Em Right is to offer listeners an exclusive behind-the-scenes vantage point not found anywhere else through its increasing list of professional connections. With a following that continues to grow daily, You Know 'Em Right is transforming into a must-listen podcast in the right place at the right time. Find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio Podcasts, Amazon Music, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. You do not want to miss an episode of You Know I.
Oh, we're back from the CSI softball complex as the Dolphins can thank the wind on that one, as that ball was hit well to straightaway right field by Emily Mayer, but waiting for it was Mockery for the first out. Now, we had a bit of an extended break because we had a conversation going on to our left, and it appears as if Team Masha has won. Our statistician, Louis Matrone, has been overruled. So Louis did not put his foot down, did not stand up for the truth and what is right. And the Dolphins have been awarded a hit for that ground ball to first base.
Well, if you're a CSI fan, I mean, you like to see that one in the hit column. Don't want to be no hit. So, I mean, there you go. There's your first hit of the day. Like we said, it's a bang-bang play, but
in a 9-0 game, Nick, go back and find that replay for me and play it in slow motion so we can get one more look.
Yeah, I'll look.
We'll do once in slow motion and once in real time. Because if you're a fan of Stack, this could be meaningful later in the game. We'll see. The difference between one hit and no hits, of course, is a big one. As Rivera misses with her third straight to Amanda Demerly. Demerly's 0 for 2, reached on an error and struck out. So Nick's looking for that replay. Once he has it, we'll play it for you again.
I think I have it right here.
Yep. Sounds good. So after this at bat, as Demerly takes a called strike one.
And I'm going to slow it up a little bit for the viewers at home.
All right, we'll do it once at half speed and once at full speed. Half speed really doesn't help us too much because we need to know how hard the ball was hit. I don't have a good view, so this is all you, Nick.
That actually might have been. I'm going to apologize for that. That was not the replay I was looking for. That was the play at second base. Let's see if I can.
All right, so we'll keep
now.
As Demerly has drawn the walk, and Rade Gadsden is the batter.
Okay, now I have it.
All right, so let's get a look ahead of this at bat for Gadsden. And we have a caught stealing over at second as I was communicating with Nick off microphone for a moment, but cut down trying to swipe second base is Demerly, and she's quickly erased for the second out. Now, do we have the replay, Nick?
Yes. So here's the replay right here. This is in full motion here. So it's a ground ball to first. It looks like off the bat, that's a single, as that's a pop up to short, and that's going to end the inning. We'll try to get a slower view of that.
So, Nick, did it look like a hit to you on that first replay or not?
We'll look at the slow replay. She lined it to first base, and it looked like it was a hit, but you could see the first baseman. She went down with her glove as if she was going to be able to make the play. And to me, that's an error.
All right, I'm going to take one more look before we head to break at full speed. This is the first time that I'm seeing it clearly since the initial play. So let's look one more time. That's an error. No doubt, that's an error.
She went down with the glove.
And we're headed to break. The first baseman is squarely in front of the ball. It may have been hit a little hard, but when you have your glove down in between your legs on the infield dirt and the ball goes straight under, that's an error. It wasn't a scorcher. It was a sharply hit ground ball, but that's an error. The Dolphins have no hits as far as I'm concerned, though officially CSI does have one base hit. So when we come back, bottom half of the fourth inning, Dolphins trail 9-0.
In NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
And we're back from the CSI softball complex, and we had some more light shed on that base hit that we believe wasn't, but officially will go down as a hit. It seems that our stats desk succumbed to some strong arming from the Dolphins bench.
And like we said at home, you be the judge. Team Masha or Team Lou? Who are you going with? I and Joe Foreman are the... we believe that was an error. If you go down with your glove, it might have been hit hard no matter what. You went down with the glove. That has to be ruled an error.
She was guarding the line. Now, the opinion I value the most is coming in. All right. I was told we need to play it slower. So we'll do that right now. So put it to 0.75 because 0.5 is a little too slow. So wait a pitch or two, and we'll play it again. Okay, so it looks like the request I got from home to play it again was a bit delayed, and our colleague and friend David Pizzuto already got a look at it. He agrees it is an error. His opinion is the definitive opinion, and we were correct. End of discussion. As McPherson chops that one foul, so Acosta struck out to open up this half inning, and McPherson is quickly in a two-strike hole.
A two-strike count quickly for CSI. That's how this game has gone so far. Just been very, very quick pitching for the Spartans. They're getting a great outing right here.
So not only did Dave agree it was an error, he agreed 100% as McPherson strikes out swinging for out number 2. Now, this gets very interesting if the Dolphins don't get a hit the rest of the way. Now, again, it would be a 5-inning no-hitter, so you take that for what it's worth, but a no-hitter's a no-hitter.
Absolutely.
And I guarantee you that whoever is scoring the game in the Spartans dugout did not rule that a hit.
Absolutely not.
Definitely not.
And I would not blame them.
But our official stats, being Lewis, those are the official stats. So because Lewis was spineless and gave in...
And we'll be sure to remind him about that.
Oh, we will.
Just to let everyone at home know.
I'll walk over to the break, tap him on the back, and go, no jellyfish? Jellyfish much? He'll have no idea what I'm talking about.
Absolutely not.
Which will add to my laughter. I think causing that confusion would put a smile on my face. So I'm definitely going to do that. Elizabeth Moore behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. And she takes up high for ball 2.
It doesn't matter how many innings you got the no-hitter. You get a no-hitter, I mean, that's something you could talk about for years and years to come.
We're just having fun with everybody, but we are certainly of the opinion that that particular play should have been scored an error, as Moore strikes out for the second time, and once again the Dolphins go down 1-2-3 as Carissa Della Vecchia has now struck out 8. The question is, how many hits has she allowed with her team leading 9-0?
Well, for me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major, as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
And we're back from the CSI softball complex. Dolphins trailing 9-0, and they will hope to keep the deficit right where it is and give themselves a chance to prolong this game in the bottom half of the 5th. And that ball's hit well to deep left center field. Giving chase in left is Carcano. She will not get there. And into second base standing is Tara Hagan with a leadoff double.
And that is another extra base hit for the Spartans. They are just having themselves a day at the plate. And, Joe, for the viewers at home that don't know, since the mercy rule is in effect, what would CSI have to do in the bottom of the inning to keep this game going?
They would have to score at least 2 runs if
it stays 9-0.
If they remain down 9-0, correct. And that one is ripped through the left side, backhanded by Moore deep on the infield dirt, but no play at first as Hagan held at second. Now off the bat, I thought that ball was hit much harder, but clearly Astrologo hit that off the end of the bat, and she is on with a single. And that noise you hear is our tent being lifted up and down off the ground.
The viewers can see it in the right-hand corner of your screen. It says a shallow fly ball left field coming in.
Infield fly?
Oh, man. Well, it was an out either way, but yeah, I mean, if they call another one right there, Joe, I might have had to got up and just gone right home. I don't know if I would have wanted to see another out of this game.
I think the dugout heard the call. They liked it. Our statistician, Louis Matrone, liked it, but that was my first thought.
Now, for the viewers at home, did you find out if his spine was full of jelly? You know,
well, jellyfish have no spine.
Yeah,
so I walked up to him, said jellyfish.
He
had no clue what I was talking about. His confusion made me laugh, and I walked away.
Fair enough. That is good old Louis Matrone, our statistician.
Had to name drop him again, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
As that's pulled foul.
Listen, any chance you can get the name drop someone, you know, you give them the opportunity, especially when you're on a live broadcast. You know, you want to respect your peers and stuff like that.
Any chance I get to troll, I'm taking it.
Oh, absolutely.
One ball and one strike. The count on Emily Olivier, and that's grounded over to McPherson at third. She steps on third for the force, but Olivier beats the throw to first.
That's a great heads-up play by McPherson. Instead of throwing the ball to first, step on the bag of third first to get the out. To instead of having second and third with 2 outs, still first and second, now 2 outs. So big play by McPherson there.
Abby Landrum will be the batter, and she attacks the first pitch, hits slowly to short, but Moore has time to throw out Landrum for the final out of the inning. So the Spartans strand a pair, and the Dolphins will need at least 2 runs to stay alive as they trail by 9 heading into the bottom half of the 5th.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we're back from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins trailing 9-0 as we begin the bottom half of the 5th inning. CSI needs at least 2 runs to stay alive. Officially, the Dolphins have no runs in the game on just 1 base hit and 3 errors. Nick and I have made it clear how we feel about that. For the Spartans, 9 runs on 12 base hits. And if I'm not mistaken, Stack had the error up there earlier. It was removed, so take that for what it's worth.
It's been an interesting day for Stats, to say the least.
Layla Aponte is the batter. She's behind in the count, 0-1. Aponte 0 for 1, has grounded out in her lone at bat. And she fouls back the 0-1 from Della Vecchia. Aponte now in a 2-strike hole.
Della Vecchia has done something really good. She keeps getting everyone into a 2-strike count, and it's been a testament of what she's done today. 8 strikeouts, you said earlier. And it's only the 5th inning. She's pitched a phenomenal game.
She sure has. Looking for strikeout number 9 here, and that's fought off foul. My pitch count is far from official, but Della Vecchia, if I'm not mistaken, is under 60 pitches.
Wow.
So she has made quick work of the Dolphins in this game as Aponte once again fouls off that pitch and stays alive.
And you couldn't ask anything more from your pitcher. Under 60 pitches in the 5th inning. CSI's had to go to 3 pitchers already in this game alone. It's great for the Spartans.
Aponte lays off that pitch in the dirt for ball 1, but after game 1 where the Dolphins had opportunities but failed to come up with the big hits, as we mentioned, they needed to get off to a better start in this game and try and play from ahead. And that never had the chance to occur as the Spartans jumped on CSI for 4 runs in the 1st inning. But for the Dolphins, playing from behind makes things so much more difficult and really necessitates being almost near perfect in the circle and in the field once you're down 4 runs after the 1st inning.
And for the first time today, this has been the best at bat for CSI they've had all game. 0-2 count now, full count. So, I mean, there's something to give for CSI here, trying to at least keep the game going.
And Aponte takes ball 4, so a good at bat, and that draws a fist pump from Layla as she trots down over to first base, and Jacqueline Cateridge will be the batter.
Now batting for the Dolphins.
Cateridge reached on an error.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the second base runner they've had all day? CSI?
Yes, because
we had the whole hit error scenario, and that was it.
That might be 3, actually.
3?
Because right now they're at the 6th spot in the order with nobody out.
Okay.
So I think that would be their second. So you were correct. You did say second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. No, you were wrong. 3rd.
Oh, I am wrong, huh?
Della Vecchia has 1 walk. Well, that was the walk, so Again, you were right.
Well, Joe, I'm no statistician, but,
0 + 1 = 1. I'm no mathematician, but 0 + 1 = 1.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd scored that walk yet, but I did, so that was the first walk. And Cateridge bounces one over to second, flip to Gadsden for one, and the throw to first not nearly in time.
Well, luckily for CSI, that was a slow grounder and able to at least keep a runner at first, but now 2 outs away from this game being over, as I think we have a substitution coming in.
And Alexandra Montella will get an at-bat. That last play crashed my scorekeeping app. And I can't leave a game incomplete, so I have to get back in, but Montella looks at the first pitch from Della Vecchia for a called strike one. Montella pinch hits for Gallo and sends one just foul down the right field line. Montella quickly in a 2-strike hole. Cateridge, the runner over at first. Dolphins need at least 2 in this half inning, and Montella fights that pitch off foul.
And I got to commend CSI here because you're down 9 runs. You would think that would, hurt this team. The morale will be down, but they're still cheering on, giving, their teammates, a big boost at the plate. Down 9-0 still. Great enthusiasm from the CSI dugout.
And Montella takes that pitch for a called strike 3. But to your point, Nick, I think a lot of that is something that's been very characteristic of this Dolphins team over the years, and we saw it earlier in the game. You mentioned it, Tracy Garofalo, their head coach, firing up the team after that first inning when they were already down by 4 runs and telling them, keep your heads up, keep playing with energy, and that's a paraphrase, obviously. We couldn't hear what was going on, but she was fired up. There may have been some more colorful aspects of that speech, but nonetheless, the team has continued to play with energy and has really cleaned up the play in the field. Most of those errors, I actually do believe all of those errors came in the first 2 innings. So CSI has been better since, but unfortunately, they just haven't gotten it done at the plate.
Just unfortunately hasn't woken up the bats. And that's going to be a crucial part of this game. They need to, get some runners on. And down to your last out right here, they need to get something into the gap, try to get a runner in.
Another pinch hitter for CSI. It's Victoria Whalen, looking to keep the Dolphins alive. And she swings through that pitch, but Cateridge is caught too far off of first, and she is tagged out on her way to second to end the ball game. So if you're the Dolphins, that is not the way you want to see that game end, as CSI succumbs to the mercy rule in the 5th inning. Cateridge is tagged out after she got caught straying too far off of first. The Dolphins drop game 1, 3-1, in what was a very close competitive game. Game 2, not so. The Dolphins were behind by 4 after 1 and never got back into it as they fall 9-0.
That's just not the way you want to end that game with a base running mistake. It's already been bad enough with the defensive errors and the amount of hits the Spartans had, and then you have a base running error, mislaps right there, and cost the Dolphins. And like you said, Joe, very competitive first game, but here in the second game, Spartans came out with guns a-blazing. They kept the gas on the pedal, and they walk out with a 9-0 win in a shortened game.
Yeah, that was a very quick game. Official time of game, about 1 hour and 15 minutes, as the Spartans make quick work of the Dolphins in game 2. But we said it, Nick, credit to the Dolphins, continued to play with energy throughout that game. The dugout remained fired up, and I think that's a product of the infectious attitude of their head coach. So good things to come for this Dolphins team moving forward, or so it seems. A lot of these games in conference play last year were mercy rule games. The Dolphins weren't in many of their conference games, and that's something that's changed early on this season. So causes for optimism moving forward.
Absolutely. You don't want to look back on some of these games. Obviously 9-0, you don't want to be reminded about them. But like you said, there's so much enthusiasm on this team. They don't want to give up. They play into the very, very last out. And that's a good sign for a good team. That's just so much good chemistry in the dugout. And, still a young season, still a lot of a way to go. So let's see how this game impacts CSI throughout the rest of the way.
Yeah, we're at about, I would say, the 40% mark so far on the schedule. So still plenty of softball to be played. And I think it's about a week and a half from now. I think we have 4 games in 6 days, maybe 4 games in a week. And then the Dolphins aren't home after that until the end of the season. So the busiest part of the schedule here at home still to come. Hard to believe this is only our second softball broadcast of the season. But with that, we will wrap it up from the College of Staten Island. This has been Joe Foreman, and I want to thank my broadcast partner, Nick Bavona, for joining me on the call for Game 2. It was getting a bit lonely over here, and hearing the sound of my own voice was becoming a bit tiresome. So I'm happy you jumped on with me for the second game. A job well done. And from all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. Our final score in Game 2, 9-0 Spartans, after Stack defeats CSI 3-1 in Game 1. Our next CSI Dolphins broadcast will be either on Saturday or Sunday, depending on the weather situation. Right now, we have a broadcast scheduled for Saturday at noon. It will be myself and Nick Durst on the call for Game 1. I'll be solo for Game 2. If you want to come on by for Game 2, Nick, you're more than welcome. So
I'm more than happy to come.
We'll be happy to have you, and we'll have to get that set up for Saturday. But if that game does not happen, baseball will likely be played on Sunday instead. So we are still awaiting word on potential schedule changes. You can get all of those schedule changes at csidolphins.com. So if you can't attend the game this weekend, and you might not want to with rain incoming, be sure to tune in here on the ECC Network for those broadcasts, and enjoy your weekend.